ladies and gentlemen. I'm really happy to be here again, and thank you for coming. Would you really enter an airplane without knowing the heights you are climbing, where you are going to land, and what to expect in the new country? Would you really go, assume, without any luggage, without a companion, blindfolded? Would you assume that this trip must take you to the nirvana? Would you fly without your seatbelts fastened? How will you react when the plane starts shaking and swaying? What will happen when things get really uncomfortable, when you get frightened, when you finally are convinced the plane is crashing and your blood freezes? On whom will you put the blame after the uneasy landing for all this? The plane? The storm? The guy who sold you the ticket? Your mother? And how would you name this after an uneasy landing? A bad trip? That's awesome. There are those journeys who bring you close to enlightenment, where you are in an oceanic state of being, in unity with yourself, the universe, in pure consciousness, love, and peace. There are those who bring you close to disintegration, where you feel disconnected from yourself and the world, in the void, in pure fear, horror, and mortal agony. There are many other experiences in between. These are the most common ones. Experiences associated with positive feelings are preferred and popularly called good trips. Those associated with negative feelings are called bad trips. I am invited here as a therapist who has worked with LSD, MDMA, 2CB, and psilocybin. In this context, I will focus today on the difficult experiences, and I will talk about dealing with powerful, difficult, emotionally intense experiences in the context of psychoanalytic therapy. I will outline why these experiences are especially welcome in psychoanalytic therapy and how they are converted into lasting corrective new experiences and lead to an authentic personality. In the course of that, I will first explain some theoretical basics. I will talk about function of the substances, conscious and unconscious memories of a person, where they are stored and their appearing variety in psychoanalytic sessions, phenomenon of projection, importance of the trias of dose, set, and setting, psychoanalytic therapy and its purpose, emergence of difficult life events, the work through and tools, principles of resolving traumatizing events, corrective new experiences, integration steps. At the very end, I will summarize and give a short statement. LSD, 2CB, and psilocybin do not have any pharmacological potential of their own, which means they are not specific for any purpose, like aspirin might be for a headache. The scientific world agrees that using them is not dangerous to health. MDMA has some contraindications and some restrictions which should be known: high blood pressure, asthma medication, beta blockers, antidepressants, or HIV medication, and others. Psychoactive substances do not create feelings themselves. They function like catalysts for psychic and mental insights that can lead to change in life. They expand the conscious awareness. They allow any event in a person's biography, noticed, heard, seen, felt, smelled, liked or disliked at the time of their occurrence, to surface. Psychoactive substances are door openers to the unconscious. They allow any event, from procreation to this very day, to emerge. These events, forgotten, repressed, or dissociated, emerge with the associated perceptions, feelings, and body sensations. Psychoactive substances mirror the person's own life. The substances only excavate what is stored. One only perceives the very own inside. Psychoactive substances facilitate encountering oneself. Powerful experiences first happen in real life. They leave an impact. The bad trip in a later session is only the replay of a former reality showing up in a condensed, possibly alienated form. When the event happened first, it was unconsciously stored as perceived, horrifying, threatening, tied together with its accompanying feelings. Naturally, the same happens with joyous events. The inner state of the moment is the crucial criterion which will be remembered. The earlier intense impacts take place, the more they determine the perception of the world. They stir as hidden secret guides actions and reactions of a person. They determine self-perceptions like, I'm stupid. They turn into survival concepts like, I have to perform to be loved. They manifest as attitudes, belief systems. They may lead to dysfunctional, neurotic behavior, compulsive patterns, or personality disorders, and thus become the source of difficulties in relationships. Repressed or dissociated, they are not accessible to memory anymore. Intense experiences happen at any time in life. You fall in love the first time. The butterfly feelings in your stomach are engraved as stored patterns and become your future judging a love relationship. The ability to love and relate trustworthy, though, is already predetermined by the quality of binding and bonding with your mother and father, your first encounter with relationship. You experience a traffic accident, you survive, your best friend dies. The freeze shock will be stored, conscious and unconsciously, depending on the impact. The event might even be dissociated. Psychoactive substances only convey and reveal a person's own psychic material. This can manifest itself in a session through thoughts, convincing insights, images, feelings, body sensations, and many other different states of being. Contents of experiences may appear clearly and may easily be understood as the personal biographical scenes. But they may also show up metaphorically through strange images so that they need to be decrypted. Life events of our ancestors may appear as pictures or scenes and can be interpreted as epigenetic phenomena like war scenes, cassette scenes, flight, and so on. Contents of experiences may appear repeatedly with vague feeling, strange body sensations, blurred images. These often point to very early formative, pre-verbal, intrauterine or perinatal experiences or to dissociated biographical events. They too need to be decoded, put into words. Sometimes this is possible already on the session, sometimes only afterwards. All of these need to be identified, worked through, and assigned to the underlying event. Contents of stress-associated feelings can show in form of body reactions such as shaking, trembling, or freezing. The attached, difficult feelings can emerge at the same time or later. Dissociation mostly shows up first as confusion, agitation, disconnectedness, or unspecific unease. The client will report that nothing is happening, or he complains to have received an ineffective low dose. It is necessary to stay with him, help discover the underlying event, and reconnect carefully with the associated feelings before reliving the experience and then letting it go. Psychedelic experiences open the unconscious, stir up all kinds of memories, and thus mirror the inside of a person. To put it in one sentence, all you need is you, and yourself. Unfortunately, it is not common knowledge that the contents of experiences only belong to the person himself. Not being aware of this, a client will assume that images or feelings exist outside of him and come from the outside. He will deny their existence within himself and attribute them to others. This is called projection. Without guidance on how to work with a substance, He will react on upcoming emotionally difficult issues the same way as initially, and thus come into a re-traumatization. Sensations like fear, anxiety, sad or painful memories, body pain or nausea are generally unwelcome. Called negative feelings, they will be fought off and rejected. This worsens an already bad condition on a session. Images read as coming from the outside are named hallucinations, seeing something that is not there. When they are scary, people become afraid of their own inner life. Every person taking a psychoactive substance needs to be familiar with this phenomenon of projection and must learn not to react, especially to unpleasant feelings and images. Otherwise, his venture will go into a bad trip. Among other preconditions, a real good bad trip starts out of projection. The dose of a known substance should match exactly to the client's needs. His previous experiences and his intention should be considered. In general, the principle of Paracelsus applies. The dose makes the poison, especially with LSD and psilocybin. Everything concerning the client is called set. The client must be prepared, he must have an intention, and he needs to feel safe. Everything concerning the therapist is called setting. His professionality and the ambience and atmosphere he offers must be up to the task. The controlled setting, the so-called controlled setting, fulfills the conditions of those set and setting. The controlled setting is the precondition and the centerpiece of psychoanalytical therapy. The use of psychoactive substances enables access to the unconscious, elucidation of the conscious, contact with the collective knowledge and the mystical. It paves the way to integration of what has been perceived, frightening or blissful, and in the end, to the authentic self. The main goal is a change in life for the better. Integration through working through any kind of psychic disorders, harms, insults, painful experiences, traumatizing events and their after effects like neurosis and the post-traumatic stress disorder. It is the reintegration of dissociated parts of the personality. Insofar, it does not differ much from conventional therapy. It is also about climbing the steep ladder of self-knowledge from the valley of unconscious disturbances to becoming aware of one's own inherent qualities, and it is about seeking a way to move towards a sustainable change in the values of your life. This is the moment to mention the ongoing studies with MDMA on post-traumatic stress disorder all over the world and to thank all participants. Since bad trips in real life control us secretly, and since the substances give access to their not consciously known psychic impacts, we welcome difficult, emotionally intense experiences to emerge. The goal for the client is to gain a deep understanding of and agreeing to the past situation, its participants and the circumstances, and thus reach a different point of view. Moreover, many a client may get an understanding of the roots of his various addictions. In our controlled setting, a client would direct his intention towards a bad experience from the past, here a dragon, and face it. In the beginning, he stops fighting. He bids the dragon to stop being dangerous. He looks deep into his eyes. For the first time in life, they see and recognize each other. The dragon is taken by surprise. When the hero touches him fearless and friendly, his evil power diminishes. The touch tames the dragon and transformations take place. The chain that has tied the two together dissolves and the dragon transmutes into the enormous force of the client which had been frozen by fear. When such experiences occurred spontaneously, they were treated the same way. The emerging material determines the tool. One tool is the client's own observation of the process, memorizing the answers and insights. One tool is the therapist. Sorry, the thing goes wrong. He's talking or listening. Answering questions. Here we have family constellation, which shows the dynamics of a system. Here is life body work in the as-if-now modus for traumatizing events. There is the group interaction to represent the world and give support. Naturally, there is music. Not only difficult experiences must emerge completely. For final integration, they have to be worked through, sometimes a couple of times. They must be understood and agreed to on a body, mind, and soul level. The traumatizing event links with the perception, reaction, the associated feelings and sensations of the moment. Whenever a trigger is perceived, unconscious association arises and the system reacts in its specific way. To resolve the link between the identified traumatic event and the associations must be cut. The cutting needs an environment of trust. For reliving, the client's grown-up part stays in contact with the therapist. The hurt child remains in contact with its feelings and perceptions. By reliving and acknowledging the event to be over, the cut is done. This might be expressed in sentences like, "This is how it was. It is history now. I can memorize it without being carried away." To achieve a sustainable change in life after this process, the client now must develop new patterns, exercise them, and reorganize his daily life. Corrective new experiences can arise from insights that you are able to feel, that you are able to love, that you are not alone, that you are able and that you are a lovable person yourself. Another important healing experience is to develop the courage to open up and to find out that you are not hurt by daring this, or to even make friends. Complete integration means reaching a grown-up state of being. The first step on the session itself is to rationally and emotionally take in the event, reliving the emotions and cut the emotional link between the two. Expressing the process in the sharing, writing in minutes, and a therapeutic meeting in between sessions represent the meta level. These are the second, third, and fourth step on the integration ladder. The fifth step is attentiveness in daily life to detect traces of old reactions and the courage to change them. When difficult feelings transmute into serenity, they become an integrated part of personality. This is the sixth step. Generally speaking, psycholytic therapy helps integrate the shadows, leading to less projections in everyday life. Bad trips in real life result in suffering and fighting. To bring this to an end, we want to resolve them in psycholytic therapy. The door openers to the unconscious facilitate their lively emergence. The substances, the personal work, and the tools help dissolve all and allow corrective new experiences to happen. Thus, stumbling stones that bad trips are made of will slowly turn into stepping stones, which you will climb towards your authentic personality with a suitcase full of practical self-help, like attentiveness for the body, mental awareness, understanding, and compassion for yourself and the other. I am sure that you are people who prefer meaningful journeys instead of recreational trips. You will carefully choose destination, route, and the best, not the cheapest way. You will know about your own responsibility, take good care of your own safety, and even prepare yourself for the case that in spite of all your preparations, the weather might turn stormy. You will take a partner along or a tour guide. You make sure beforehand to land safely and be welcomed by your fellow friends and relatives. Above all, you will have embarked on this journey for the sake of your inner development. If you want to know more about psycholytic therapy, you will find it in my freshly printed book, Therapy with Substance, in the book market. Thank you very much.